Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Meha Bhardwaj Alter and this is Game On. The Indian team, they've reached Mumbai for their all-important semi-final. We get you the latest from the Indian camp. We also tell you how Wankhede is gearing up for the big match and what will the pitch be like. Chetan Narula is with us and as is Jamie Alter as well. But there you can take a look at the Indian team or we'll come back to it in just a bit. Let's just introduce our guests here. Jamie, Chetan, thank you so much for joining us here. The big thing now is that all that you've done in the 9 games will mean nothing. It's this particular semi-final and the occasion itself can't get bigger than this, right?
Absolutely, Meha. I think, it's a replay of the 2019 World Cup semi-final. And, we have discussed on this show for a while now.
Yeah.
India has been the dominant side. There's been no doubt about that. But as always, it's going to be about those 30 minutes of cricket or those 40 minutes of cricket, which have hurt India in the past in ICC trophy against familiar opponents. I mean, New Zealand have hurt India. Australia have hurt India. So from that perspective, everything that you've done in those 9 matches, you take that into account in terms of your form, in terms of the runs that you've scored, in terms of the wickets you've taken, in terms of the inspiration, the passion, the enjoyment, the feel-good factor, the positivity, anything and everything. You take that into account, you take that into the game. But at the end of the day, it is what you do on that particular day, in that particular passage of time, that is what it is all about. Because semi-finals, they don't follow a script. They don't care what's been, the pattern, the routine in those 9 games. It's what happens on that day. The tagline of this World Cup, it takes one day. So now we have 2 of those days. One is the semi-final, the other is the final. What happens on that day, that's what really matters.
In fact, let's play those visuals for everybody. Indian team, they've reached Mumbai for their biggest test of the World Cup 2023, as Chetan was saying. This is it. What they do in this semi-final against New Zealand on the 15th of November at the Wankhede Stadium will be decisive. That will decide if India go into the final clash. So, the semi-final clash against New Zealand, all important. India have been unbeaten in the league stage, having won all the 9 matches. One more win will give them that prized final spot. It's going to be played at the Wankhede Stadium, the iconic Wankhede Stadium, where India last won the World Cup final 12 years ago. That will witness another historic match where the 2 teams will fight for World Cup glory. Rohit Sharma, the Indian captain, he's led from the front. Let's play those visuals again. I saw Rohit Sharma there in those visuals. There, take a look at it. Rahul Dravid, the coach of this team, Indian captain Rohit Sharma. He has led the team from the front. He will look to make this a special moment at his home ground in front of thousands of fans. In fact, look at the number of fans who have come here to greet this team. There I can spot Rohit Sharma with his little daughter and his wife. He couldn't get a big knock in the last game against Sri Lanka, but this is an important occasion where one can expect Rohit Sharma, who is playing beautifully throughout this World Cup, to play a significant knock. There's of course another player the world's been waiting for to get to his 50th ODI century. Can it be done at the home ground of the master blaster Sachin Tendulkar, whose record Virat Kohli will be breaking? So a lot of those questions as well. But the one thing we've seen with this Indian team is they've looked relaxed, they've looked at ease. They do not carry the burden of the pressure of expectations, and that has been a good thing for them. That is one of the reasons why this team hasn't really collapsed under pressure. What we've seen is a very dominant Indian team in all the matches that they've played, and there have been instances, rare instances, but there have been occasions when Indian team was in trouble. You go back to that match against Australia when they were 3 wickets down and suddenly you felt, will they be able to come back? And they did. Virat Kohli, KL Rahul playing beautiful knocks to get India back to track and winning that match. So what we've seen is that even if they've been put in a bit of trouble, they've bounced back and they haven't let that bother them. What I love about these visuals is the fans and how much they love this team and why it has only gotten, I mean, I feel like there is this aura which is larger than life around this team at the moment because they really are the invincible Indians at the moment. They are a team that people think are not going to be defeated in this tournament. But it comes down to that one big semi-final. So much at stake, but at the same time, you know that this team, more than all others, deserves to be in the final. So a lot to talk about, a lot to look forward to. For starters, let's get Jamie and Chetan back into the conversation. And let me ask you the first question, guys. To Jamie, let me start. Jamie, are you getting any withdrawal symptoms? Because I am. There is no match today and I'm wondering what to do. For the first time in this World Cup, we're all wondering what is going on. Why is it that there is no scorecard to check? We're not, just whenever I'm crossing from one point to the other in this office, there are screens everywhere where the matches are on and I'm wondering, aaj match kyun nahi chal raha hai?
It's a welcome break, let's be honest, after 42 matches in a row. And like Chetan said earlier, if you want predictions, don't hesitate. We'll give you, I think I ended the last show by saying, you want a prediction? And I'll give it to you because anything we say right now is in some shape, way or form going to be a prediction, But look, you mentioned, and I mean, what amazing visuals these are. This visual, every single visual that we've seen, whether it be, from the news agencies or what Chetan has shown or what somebody else has brought up, it just shows, like you said, Maya, how the fans adore these people, right? But if a few hundred tweets or engages on X, if 50 to 60 WhatsApp messages or any yardstick, if a couple hundred YouTube comments or anything to be given attention to, despite this love, I can tell you there's probably 99.9% of people that I engage with, they're all saying dar lag raha hai, dar lag raha hai, dar lag raha hai. And this dar comes, yes, they're acknowledging and they're loving it. They're lapping up every single show which we've discussed. They're lapping up all those factors. But something about what Chetan started off the show by saying, something about India's repeated failures for a decade now in knockouts, it has not shifted. And I find it fascinating. I'm yet to find someone who's as positive as I am, and I'm sitting on the best of days, that I am talking literally, like I said, if I'm even giving you just 500 examples of WhatsApp messages, social media tags, and YouTube comments put together, it's all 500 saying, ye sab theek hai, yaar, semi-final, those 20 minutes, those 45 minutes, toss, yaar, New Zealand hai. So I just find it fascinating to observe and to be given the chance to be able to share my views on it.
Yeah.
This is unprecedented, Meha, 9-0 home, but people still feel like band bajne wali hai in the semifinals. So I'm not quite sure what to say. I've said it, and I'll just repeat myself like a stuck record. My confidence, my faith, and you both know, we've been doing this show now for 5-6 months. When we've called them out, when we've been wrong, when we've underestimated, overestimated, been harsh, whatever it is. With each passing victory, I see this team actually going on to win 11-0 and the trophy. But I think I'm in the minority. People have a genuine fear about things going wrong. A bowler, how Chetan mentioned in the afternoon show, Virat Kohli ka pair gaya, fir wapas khinch liya. These are genuine concerns. I'm not saying all those people are wrong because they've seen this movie play out.
Yeah.
They've seen 2015, unbeaten, 19, one defeat to England. But come the biggest day, ya to you collectively lose your marbles, or like Chetan will always say, you have that 45 minutes. So yes, this team is stormed into the semifinals, but I'm not sure what the average man actually thinks about India's chances 48 hours
I think it's a very Indian thing to do as well. There are two things to it. One is it's sort of a defense mechanism because you don't know how to react to something like this. And also something very Indian is that whenever something good is happening, You just said ज़्यादा बात नहीं करना. Let's not keep harping about it because you know how things go wrong and how quickly they go wrong. And this isn't, your daily conversation. There are times when I think it comes down to that. But the fear is genuine also because it is a knockout match. Anything can happen. We've seen it's the nature of this sport, particularly cricket, where, that's why it's a game of glorious uncertainties because, suddenly you've seen a game completely turn on its head. What I feel adds to this fear around it, Chetan, is the advantage that one gets at the toss at the Wankhede Stadium. I feel like that has added to it. For all the matches that we've seen at the Wankhede, toss first, bat first, winning the toss is a huge advantage. And I feel like that's also playing on people's minds. Do you agree?
To a degree, yes. I think the bigger factor is New Zealand itself, because let's just recount the number of times they've made the semi-finals. This is the 5th consecutive time that they've made a semi-final of an ODI World Cup, which is remarkable, absolutely remarkable. In between, they've been to the final of the World T20 World Cup. They've been to a couple other semi-finals. They've won the World Test Championship, where they beat India again. So they're kind of India's bogey team. But it takes me back to 2019, in Manchester. And I remember there was an air of confidence in Manchester just before that game. And it was similar. It was a similar sort of a tournament. India had topped the table in alien conditions, in English conditions. They had won 7 games. There was 1 no result, 1 loss. The no result was against New Zealand. The match had been rained out in Nottingham, but it was not considered a big deal. India was steamrolling everybody, smacking aside everybody apart from England, and they had been designed to fail against England, like I'd mentioned earlier, shorter boundaries against the wrist spinners, etc. So from that perspective, there was an air of confidence. I remember Virat Kohli, he was very jovial in the press conference. He was joking around in the press conference. He was answering every question in detail, So there was an air of confidence. And New Zealand won the toss. They put on 240. There was still an air of confidence. There was rain. And what happened after that? And it was stunning. It was a stunning reversal of luck, of performance, bad passage of play. We can highlight any number of things. And those memories, I think, are coming back because at the end of the day, people understand. I think everybody understands that. And I think 2019 semi-final across those 2 days went to a great extent to make the fans understand it doesn't really matter what you do in the league stage, what you do in those 9 games. It's in the past. Maybe you've scored 500 runs. Maybe you've scored 4 centuries. Maybe you've taken 16 wickets in 4 matches. It does not matter at all. What matters is what you do on that particular day, and 2 of those days are ahead of us. So I think a bit of fear is because of the kind of opposition that we are playing, but also the fact, yes, the toss factor, and I think that's been highlighted by none more so than India, the way they swatted Sri Lanka in that game. It was unplayable. So what happens if India is batting second? We saw what happened to England. We saw what happened to Australia. Do we have a Glenn Maxwell if we are 91 for 7? I think there's a lot of positivity still. People believe that, like Jamie said, I don't think he's in a minority. I think there is genuine belief that this Indian team can go to the final, can win the final. But there is also genuine concern. I'm not going to say fear, but concern. What happens if there are 30 bad minutes in the semi-final against an opponent that we know very well, an opponent that knows us very well, and an opponent that has induced those 30 bad minutes in the past on numerous occasions? So from that perspective, I think this is the beauty of sport. This is the beauty of a tournament like the World Cup. It's not a bilateral series that you win and then you go home. It's a World Cup. So, deal with it. You've won 9 matches. Now deal with it. And I think the Indian team is shielded from whatever we are feeling on the outside. I think they are carrying that element of confidence. And now it is up to them to showcase that they are carrying this confidence, and this confidence can help them tide over this semi-final and the final. So the sphere is only going to get bigger if we get to the final, you know.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, it's a mixed feelings thing.
Yeah.
The rest I'll tell you tomorrow how the mood is at the Wankhede.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of superstition as well, and I also feel that at this point, given batting under the lights at the Wankhede, give that to this Indian team any day over overcast conditions in Manchester with Trent Bolt swinging the ball at you. So I think India is going to take this. The other thing being, what can we expect from the Wankhede pitch? This is, like Chetan was saying, like I've been saying, Jamie, we've been talking about it, how it gets difficult batting second under the lights, especially in those first 15 to 20 overs. This is the MCA secretary, Ajinkya Nayak. He's talking about what one can expect at the Wankhede Stadium for the big semi-final. Listen in.
जो गाइडलाइंस आईसीसी और बीसीसीआई ने वो हम सिर्फ फॉलो कर रहे हैं और आप मतलब देख सकते हैं मैच में भी उसका नतीजा या उसका क्या मतलब आउटकम है वो आपको दिखाई दे। 4 मैच भी किए और ये मैच के भी आने उससे बेहतरीन हम क्या अच्छा कर सकते हो, इसी पूरी हमारी एपेक्स काउंसिल, हमारे जो अध्यक्ष है अमोल काले जी, उनके नेतृत्व में हम कर रहे हैं। तो यहाँ पे फ्री ड्रिंकिंग वाटर जैसे बीसीसीआई ने हमको कहा था वो तो है ही, वापस हमारे अध्यक्ष जी ने पॉपकॉर्न और कोल्ड ड्रिंक का सब स्पेक्टेटर्स को फ्री हम लोग ने प्रोवाइड किया है। बाद में हमारा माइन्यूट लेवल पे टॉयलेट्स होगा या स्टेडियम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर होगा, इस हर चीज पे हमारा एकदम माइक्रो लेवल पे प्लानिंग हो कि हमारे हर मेंबर्स उसके ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं। और आपने देखा ही होगा कि हर मैच इधर बेहतरीन ही रहा और एक अलग एग्जाम्पल सेट करके दिया।
Well, I hope all of these things are being arranged for the fans. I mean, we've been talking about this throughout the World Cup. These are basic things that Indian fans need to get in stadiums. No more dirty toilets, no more walking 2 kilometers to get water. I mean, those are things you need to give to the fans to provide them that world-class experience. So, thank you very much that that is happening, especially in a big semi-final where India will be playing now. Mind games have begun. Ross Taylor is saying that India is the team that will be nervous playing New Zealand. He says this time around, India are even bigger favourites at home and having played so well during the group stage. But when we have nothing to lose, New Zealand teams can be dangerous. If there's a team that India will be nervous facing, it will be this New Zealand side. We're up against it, of course, but that was also the case in 2019. That was a 2-day, 1-day game. It was a strange situation for me. I was not out overnight. That is a nerve-wracking enough in Test cricket, let alone in one day and a World Cup semi-final. So that is Ross Taylor. Another interesting thing just before we wrap this up is Paras Mamre talking about Virat Kohli getting that wicket. Chetan, they do take Virat Kohli's bowling very seriously. This is what he says. It was a nice setup. He says it was lovely to see Virat's wicket. I could see him adjusting the fine leg a little bit. Looked at KL Rahul saying, where is he going to bowl? So it was a lovely setup. I had a chat with Rohit on how could we use Virat. With the new ball, he swings the ball and gives us that little bit in the power play. So there is a chance that he might be given the new ball. Well, that's what he says. Okay, quickly going to wrap this up, guys. But your last thoughts on Wankhede? I was seeing one thing, Jamie. First innings, batting first, average score is 350 plus. Batting second is 188. You couldn't hear me?
I lost you. I can't hear you. Sorry.
I said batting first at the Wankhede. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Batting first at the Wankhede, average innings in this World Cup has been 350 plus. Batting first, and average score batting second is 188.
Look,
and
I think the last semi-final.
That would have been helped by Glenn Maxwell's double 100. That number.
Yeah. All that is great. I'm saying the last time India played a semi-final at the Wankhede Stadium was 1987. I was too young to remember, but I've heard the stories. The captain that day chose to put England in, and we all know how that went out. I come from an era, Maya, where I've seen a test match in Barbados. They were chasing 120. They got 81 allowed. Yeah. 1996 semi-final, Eden Gardens, Azhar chose to field. I don't even need to go back there. Okay. World Cups tell you just bat. I've got a whole list, but we have a short show today.
For another day,
I'll bring it up tomorrow.
because I have a very special show that's coming up after this. Thank you so much, Chetan and Jamie. That's it on this special. Hope you enjoyed it. News9 Live is what you need to subscribe to for all the latest from the world of sports. After the break, watch Duologue with our CEO and MD of TV9 Network, Barun Das, and newly appointed Foreign Secretary of UK, David Cameron. Goodbye.
BrahMos. Stealthy, lethal,